Okay, yeah, at this time I'd like to start the next panel. This is the BSN NFT DDC panel. We're very excited to have a number of guests, so I'd just like to call to the stage Eddie Lau and Neil Tan, who are joining us in person, and then also Harriet Cao and Gillian Howard, who are going to be with us remotely. So let's have a round of applause for them. Okay, so first of all, we're just going to go through a couple slides and spend a little bit more time on this whole DDC thing. So maybe we can just switch over, and then what we'll do is we'll switch back and we'll bring Harriet and Gillian onto the screen. Okay, you guys can wave hello first. Hi, Harriet. Hi, Gillian.
Hello.
We're going to put you off screen for a second. We're going to switch to the PowerPoint. And then we'll be back with you in about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Great. So again, what is the BSN DDC network? It is a digital asset framework for China, really. And what makes it different from other digital asset frameworks that are out there already is that this one is multi-chain and interoperable. So right now, in China, there's actually a lot of digital assets that some of them are called NFTs. Some of them, just kind of think that they're NFTs. But there's a lot of disadvantages to these systems because either you're getting a digital asset on what is essentially a database. So it's like me going to a website and then I'm getting an NFT, but really all I'm getting is a database entry which says that they're going to give me an NFT. There's no transparency, there's no sovereign ownership, there's no keys, there's no anything. It's just, I'm basically just trusting them that I have something somewhere, and if I actually want to claim it, they'll give it to me. But there's no assurance. That's the current state of kind of NFTs in China, at least the non-public chain ones. You also have these kind of single chains where it is a blockchain, but it's a single blockchain. It's not really an ecosystem. So if you take DDC, or if you take NFTs from these blockchains, you're really betting that these single blockchains are going to be the end-all, be-all blockchains for China, because that's kind of what you're hoping that they'll take the whole market. So for us, I think that DDCs are more interesting because it doesn't rely on a single blockchain. It allows for the communities of multiple blockchains, as I said, 10 to even up to 40, to have their own robust platforms, applications, ecosystems, economies, etc. And so that's kind of what the DDC is. The other feature of this whole DDC network is that it is in complete compliance and fully visible to the Chinese government. So this is a system which has been looked at by them, and there has been no kind of objection. In fact, as Ifan often tells me, the name DDC actually came from the government itself. So it gives you a sense of the kind of visibility and acknowledgement of this platform itself versus some of the other ones that are out there. So let's go to the next slide. You can just read this, but there's a lot of different chains, and we think that BSN is the most popular one. Let's go to the next slide. All right, so let's talk a little bit about key traction. It's a super new network. This whole kind of application set. It was only launched this year in January 25th, so it's only a few months old, but even in that very short time, there's already been millions. I think the number is 4.5 million just in April alone. So it took a little bit of time to kind of get up and running, but as in 1 month, there were already 4.5 million DDCs minted. What that means is that we're seeing this kind of hockey stick of growth of digital assets being minted in China. There's an incredible hunger and there's an incredible appetite to actually create these. And what kind of DDCs are they? What kind of digital assets? Well, in this first generation, it's a lot of what you would think. It's art, it's gifts, it's coupons, even tickets to events. It's these kind of generation 1 NFT use cases. But we think there's going to be a lot more, and we're really at the very beginning. I think what's super exciting about these non-crypto NFTs is that one of the features of DDC in China is that you're not allowed to speculate on them. The Chinese government does not want to encourage the same type of kind of speculation, which is often criticized in the public blockchain world. And what we see is that there's a restriction on how often you can kind of turn these over. Now, if you're a speculator and you want to make money, that's not a good thing. It's not that exciting. But if you really believe in the future of digital assets and fundamental value and having real utility around digital assets in the future, this is actually the proving ground. I think that the most valuable use cases for DDC or for digital assets will actually come from a constrained environment where you can't rely on speculation to actually be the key utility. So it's exciting. Yeah, right now there's 4 open information blockchains that have launched. Jehan Chain, which is the one that Neil's going to talk about. And then there's 8 others in the pipeline. And Harriet will talk about the ARTA, the Cosmos implementation, WinTong Chain. And those are the kind of 2 major ones where DDCs exist. So that's kind of a framework for DDCs. And now why don't we do this? Why don't we just have, if we can go back to the other screen, please. We'll have each of you just introduce yourself. Just give a couple words about yourself and your background. And then what we'll do is we'll do another round where you kind of explain your relationship and what you're doing on BSN DDC. Harriet, why don't you go first, because you're in the top left corner. Harriet.
Hi, everyone. My name is Harriet from Bianjie. Bianjie is a Shanghai-based high-tech startup focusing on building advanced blockchain systems. We are building infrastructures for Web3 in both public chains as well as enterprise blockchain domain. We are one of the core contributors to Cosmos and ARISnet projects and have been contributing to the interchain technology development since 2017. We are also the builders for BSN WinTong Chain as well as the BSN Interchain Service Hub. So we're really excited to be in this conference and looking forward to the exchange.
Awesome. Thank you. Gillian. Oh, Gillian, we can't hear you. I don't know if you're on mute or something.
I got it.
There you go.
Oh, hi, everyone. Hi, my name is Gillian. I'm the founder of Digital Art Fair in Hong Kong. So Digital Art Fair was founded in 2020, and we are one of the very innovative fine art fair that focus on using new technology to showcasing art and culture. So a few of the technology that we use included blockchain, which all you guys are very, very knowledgeable about. And we also develop a lot of different technology around AR, XR, just to explore the opportunity and imagination of art could be. So our last fair was really great. It was in Hong Kong, and in Central, we have welcomed over 25,000 visitors and achieved a very impressive NFT art sales or digital art sales for over 74 million in Hong Kong. So we're very excited to join this panel, and thanks for having us.
Great. Thanks so much. Eddie.
Yeah, we're called ARTA TechFin. We're listed in Hong Kong as a listed company. So Dr. Adrian Chen is actually our majority shareholder and also our chairman. So what we do is quite interesting. We got, basically our goal is to revolutionize financial services with technology. That's one of our key goals. And given we have 9 to 10 different licenses, so we have quite a lot to do across asset management, brokerage, investment banking, even money lending to trustee. So that's primarily what we do. Blockchain obviously is a big part of us, and NFT as well.
Great, thanks. And last but not least, Neil.
Hi, my name is Neil Tan. I'm the CEO for Neptune Digital. Neptune Digital is a joint venture between Kinetic Capital and also CryptoBlock. Obviously, Jehan is Kinetic Capital, but CryptoBlock is also inside of banking, finance, and insurance sectors. So a very top-notch blockchain developer. What we've done is we've deployed what is called Open Permissioned Ethereum, also known as OPE, inside of China. It's already live on the BSN, so we're fundamentally looking at different projects, whether it's Ethereum-based or whether it's EVM-based. If you talk about Phantom, AVAX, BSC, so on and so forth, we can deploy this on our chain OPE. Thank you.
Great. All right, well, let's dig into the kind of DDC side. Harriet, I'm going to go back to you. Your chain, WinTong Chain, can you tell us a little bit more about WinTong Chain? And also, how is it that you've had such incredible traction? I think your chain is the one that has the most minted DDCs so far. Can you tell us a bit more about that project and why you think it's been so successful on your chain?
Thanks, Jehan. So for WinTong Chain, it is an open permissioned blockchain, and we are very proud to collaborate together with the BSN ecosystem and be the first batch to launch the open permissioned blockchain. So WinTong Chain is built using ARTA, and basically it is a Cosmos enterprise version. So using the Cosmos SDK and leverage the BFT Cosmos Tendermint consensus engine, and of course we also add a lot of permission application level controls to support the regulation compliance. And in terms of the NFT and the DDC, and basically I think so we actually started working in the enterprise space and leverage the NFT technology since 2018. So if people knows about the NFT, how it starts in 2017 on the Ethereum, and we actually started using the NFT technology to support the enterprise needs, to support the high-dimensional complicated data objects since 2018. And right now, our team is also building the NFT spec and the implementation for the Cosmos ecosystem to support the interchain NFT. And for WinTong Chain, what we have been working on is we are really trying to address to support the requirements from the application side. So we build the full ecosystem, the different layer of toolings and services. And so later on, if I get a chance, I can share a little bit more about the different type of service and tooling we provided to the developers to allow them to develop the NFT metaverse applications, just like they are developing the so even they don't know the blockchain very well, and then through the BSN, the DDC network and WinTong Chain, they can develop really with ease.
Thanks. Can you tell me a little bit more about the use cases that you're seeing for DDC so far? What are the majority of DDCs that are being minted on WinTong Chain? What are they? What types of companies? What types of use cases?
Yeah, of course, there are a lot of use cases is around the digital collectibles. So actually, Jehan, I really liked your talk earlier. So right now, we already see the booming requirements to really have this kind of digital twin of our real world objects. And NFT is really a very good technology base to support that. And right now, I would say actually for WinTong Chain, we already there are almost 100 NFT and metaverse applications today running on top of WinTong Chain. And I would say
sorry, that's just in 2 months? 3 months?
Yes. And so that thanks to also we develop a kind of API service to support some of the developers their challenges in working together, interacting with the blockchain. And I would say 80% of them are all on the digital collectibles. And then I also see other requirements is what I think is quite a new emerging, which is emerging actually from the Web 2 domain. So it is from, for example, the enterprise, they want to do digital advertisement, and they want to do customer engagements. And NFT is a very good technology to support this kind of new needs. And one of the use cases actually, Jehan, you asked me, and I think this is also a quite exciting new use cases. It actually gets to public last Friday. So we are very honored to support the La Prairie, which is a Swiss beauty brand. It's quite a famous one. And to support their launching their new product this year and leveraging the NFT and also AR technology, and to really help to enhance the online and offline O2O experience of their customers, and also to support the customer's experience and provide the long-lasting relationship with the customer. So this is a joint work together with with Circle Square and also with the BSN Red Date. And so this is reported by Moody David last Friday. And so I would encourage like people also take a look of take a read of that article. And I believe like this is also a kind of a new trend. So leverage this type of new digital technology to support the customer engagement and provide the even like environmental friendly and also the good user experience.
Yeah. Great. Thanks so much for that. Eddie, let's ping over to you now. Can you tell us a bit more about, like, maybe a level deeper of like how you're thinking about DDCs, potentially building on DDCs and BSN, and what the kind of overall vision for might be for ARTA versus thinking about China and kind of beyond?
Yeah. Actually, by the way, this is a great session. This is the last one, and you have everyone still here, which is awesome. Usually, they will have disappear. So we should make it fun. So I want to use an analogy to describe the relationship between ARTA and BSN. So basically, imagine all of you all going to the space. There are different planets, and in each planet, there are different types of aliens, right? So that's what we do. We go to different planets to talk to the aliens and try to figure out what they want. And then we build community for them, right? And then obviously you need a spaceships. And if you work with Tesla, there was SpaceX, that's one obvious choice. But there's so many choices in the world. So that's like blockchain. You can use different chain to go to a different planet. And Jehan, being the genius here, figured that you can actually connect all of them so that you can make sure everyone talk easily and travel easily. So that's the relationship between ARTA and BSN, where they create the infrastructures, and we build on that infrastructure to build other people's infrastructures. So we're quite business-oriented. Use cases as much as you can imagine. So the obvious one, I think, I'll let Gillian talk about it. She's an art expert. I'll talk about actually the even more obvious one, which is the avatar. So if you look at the photo on the description of the speaker, and then you look at me, you figure that photo was a bit old. That was taken 4 years ago, and that was slimmer, and now I'm fatter. Why is it relevant is everyone cares about how they look when they show online. I mean, honestly, I really don't care, but the fact is I have gained some weight. So what if you're 10, 20, or 30 years old, you really, truly care about your avatar? You want to be seen as the best person. You want to buy probably an LV handbag, or you want to buy something cool to put on your avatar. So DDC, it doesn't really matter whether it's called DDC or NFT, to be honest. It's almost like back in finance, we call it CNH and CNY, right? If you bring $1 of renminbi into China, that's CNY. If you bring it back out, it's CNH. It doesn't really matter. You can buy something with $1 or $10 of, you buy the same thing, basically. So it's the same client, it's the same experience that they're going after. And again, DDC or NFT allows you to basically portray yourself in the internet or in the virtual world. And then that's what we help our clients to do as well. And obviously application into art, into anything, actually, trade finance, all this can be done.
Yeah,
and one last point that is, I do want to talk about the NFT 1.0 and 2.0. And time moves very fast in the NFT space, and so is today, actually. Last year, this time, we were NFT 1.0. Everyone go online and say, cool, this is Borbay, this is, all the young kids are there playing around it. And what now? And what next, probably a year from now, is people will ask for more. Customers always want more. They want, we call it OMO experience, online merged with offline experience, where you really want something physical. I mean, it's like you buy a flower for a girlfriend, and then now you're going to buy an NFT plus an actual flowers. And then eventually, there will be AR games that come with that flowers, so that you bring your girlfriend to a place where that NFT will pop up. And only by going there, that NFT will pop up. So customers want more all the time. And that's what we do as well. We try to offer that experience.
No, that's amazing. I know that Gillian's going to talk about the art side, but obviously, Adrian and K11 and Chow Tai Fook are very famous for kind of luxury. Do you think we might see, I think Chow Tai Fook already does blockchain-based types of certificates for diamonds. Is it possible we could see that on the DDC network?
Potentially. I think, well, there's a GIA blockchain, as all of you know by now. If you buy a diamond, the GIA will give you, a certificate. So that's on blockchain. There's T-Mart, which is also a very famous brand. I'm sure this can go on DDC.
Great. Gillian, let's turn over to you. And can Can you tell us a bit more about what you're doing with DAFA, the Digital Art Fair, and how it relates to BSN and DDC?
Sure. Thank you, Jehan, and great to be here with everyone. So DAFA, what we do in Digital Art Fair is we are a platform for galleries, artists, art collectors to come together and just enjoy art and culture together with the use of technology. So obviously we've been working alongside with quite different technology, including what I mentioned earlier, XR, AR, the metaverse, virtual exhibition. There is something that we're really passionate about. When we first started, we learned that the new generation of art collectors, which is a lot of what Eddie was talking about, is that we learned that they love a new way of communication. New way of communication obviously included blockchain, and also social media, and the way of communication changed from emails and to WhatsApp message or Telegram or WeChat, etc. And so we're really trying to just make sure that we don't miss this new generation, and we'll be able to communicate with them and share the love of art and explore art, the beauty of art. So Digital Art Fair started with that kind of vision, that mission, that to share what we have, already beautiful art traditionally, to turn into digitalize, and being able to transfer that knowledge along the way and pass it on to the new generation. So that's how we all started. And as we launched last year in 2020, we realized that it's very interesting to share this figure, because I think every time I talk about it, people just get really surprised. I think if I remember correctly, 55% of our visitors were under 35 years of age, meaning that this group of young art collectors was particularly more interested in coming to, I guess, an art fair or galleries or gallery setting when it's technology related. And that was a really surprising finding, because if you understand where the art world, traditional art world, has found it quite difficult to attract this young generation, to be able to communicate with them in the way that they want to be communicated to. So that's one thing, that major part, that we want to be able to connect with the young generation through Digital Art Fair, and especially working with our artists, galleries, etc. So for us, the BSN network come in, and is something that I'm really passionate about, is transferring the knowledge and communicating with the young generation with art. So if we think about the NFT network, and without the blockchain technology in China, we will be able to share artist work from China to anywhere else in the world, and vice versa, the other way around. Using technology, blockchain, we'll be able to bring the international art into China. So that's way that we facilitated this really amazing share of knowledge of art, and then we will be able to I guess, reach our goal of cultivating art and culture with the younger generation.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And last but not least, Neil, tell us what you're, I mean, you've obviously kind of talked a bit about it. What are you kind of, go a level deeper in terms of what you're developing?
Yeah, so basically what we're doing in Neptune is really focusing first on the B2B2C area, so mostly inside of consumer, NFT marketplaces, gaming, and also the metaverse space. Obviously, I think that's where we've signed different deals, whether it's a digital art fair, whether it's Bank of Asia. We've also signed with Refinable, which is one of the largest NFT marketplaces here in Hong Kong. And we're also developing inside of China. We've signed a couple of deals inside of Shanghai, as well as in Guangzhou as well. So there's a lot of different use cases. What I do think is when we talk about outside going into China, there's different adjustments, not just on the technological side, but also on the business side, right? I believe very strongly that every DApp can go into China as long as they adjust their business model. And I think that's true across the board. And local for local, of course, we're building out our use cases as far as metaverse, move to earn, these different discussions that we're having. How do you adjust that model inside of China? You just have to get it into renminbi and also KYC the front end as far as the users and the applications and so forth. I think this is probably the critical piece. What I do think inside of the context of DDC, and it's all kudos to Yifan in terms of the creation of this technology, is that it makes NFTs accessible, right? As far as everyone's concerned, hey, it's high gas fees, the transaction timing, and so on and so forth. But it's come down to the point where it's completely accessible. Even a receipt could have an NFT, right? I think this is a tremendous leap forward and almost just jumping over different standards over the international standard, because what's going to happen is that there's going to be so many different DDCs or utilities for DDCs and NFTs inside of China, more so. And ultimately, what that means is not talking about the technology NFTs or DDCs by itself, but what are enterprises going to use to leverage that technology? We always talk about NFTs in the context of making transactions and so forth, but think about it. How do you store that information? How do you analyze that information? How do you run, let's say, inventories or your finances or your cash flow far more effectively on the blockchain, leveraging the data off the blockchain? This is where the opportunity inside of the enterprises will come from. And that's both in terms of analytics, artificial intelligence, but the fundamental root is going to be DDCs and NFTs, because if you can't track the data, you're not going to be able to measure it or manage it. So I think this is a huge opportunity.
Yeah, that's actually a really good segue. Harriet, let's go back to you for a second. Because again, your chain has the most minted DDCs. What do you think going forward are the necessary kind of tools, development tools, or platforms in addition to your chain that will really start to help open up more widespread adoption and distribution of DDCs and these different use cases that you and Neil are talking about?
So Jehan, I really liked one term you explained, the DDC innovation. So it is kind of like you mentioned we're entering into Web3, and when we are looking at the DDC, so we can call it Web 4 or even Web 5. So it is a Web 2 plus Web 3. So that is while our developing and also supporting the application developers on DDC, and we do discover for a lot of developers, they are coming from the Web 2 era. And they are not all necessarily familiar with how to interact with blockchain. And we have to, so in the DDC environment, I think what is important, and also that is all the effort and the dedications, I believe, from all the team, including the BSN core team, Red Date, and also the other the community developers. So first, to improve the developers' experience and support to them. And what I see for the kind of support, it has multiple layers. First, from the infrastructure, from the blockchain side. So you have to support the new scenarios, which is actually not in the public chain before. I don't want to elaborate too much on that, but it is a public service. So it is not in the public chain. Every developers, they are taking care of themselves. And so right now in DDC, actually they are shared infrastructure. And people are using the same infrastructure. And some of the users, some of the developers, if they are not too experienced, they might not purposely, but made some bad queries to the full ledger book. And if in the public chain, the developers, they're all running their own full node, they will discover that. However, right now, from the infrastructure side, we have to make it more user-friendly and make the developers, they cannot make mistake. And then also on the middle layer, and that is a product actually we launched in March. We call it ARTA. So it is not the famous movie Avatar. So it is a Finnish word, which means to open. And for the ARTA, that is the API service platform to the NFT and the application and the metaverse applications. It supports multi-chain, supports interchain. And what we are trying to do is really trying to package some of the good use case, good practices, which we see a good Web3 application they need to take care of. And right now we package that into a very convenient API. For example, to handle the interaction with blockchain and to optimize the queuing of the message to the blockchain. And also to support the safety of custodian of the assets, as well as even to handle the gas fee management. Because right now the developers, They're trying to provide the easy user experience to their customers, to their users, and they don't want their users trying to take care of like how to pay the gas fee, and all these things need to be taken care of by the application developer. And then we want to provide this type of API for them, and they don't need to really handle all this complication.
Amazing.
And also on the top layer, that is on the application layer, and we're also doing some quite interesting work. And so that is on the wallet side. And so Jehan, you mentioned like this is Web 2 plus Web 3. So we're also like very soon we are going to launch 2 type of wallets. One like we might call it Iris box. So it's kind of like 彩虹女神宝盒. So the name is inspired by the famous movie 大话西游, the 月光宝盒. So the Chinese movie. So it's really trying to provide this Web 2.0, this type of good user experience to the users. They are not very familiar with the blockchain. They can still safely hold their assets.
Right.
And then on the Web3, we're also going to provide another wallet. It's called Interchain wallet, and then that is more for the advanced the Web3 users. So
Right.
those are the things we're just trying to make some of our efforts to support the community and to provide the better user experience
No,
to
it's
the
amazing.
developers.
That's amazing. Can't wait to see that. All right, we're running out of time, so I want to ask one quick question, and then we'll do one last round robin. Maybe Gillian, you can kind of take a look at this one, and maybe Harry, you can chime in as well, and Neil and Eddie actually. There was a lot of criticisms about NFTs, environmental impact, speculation, etc. How, if at all, does DDC and BSN kind of address some of these kind of criticisms, and how might DDC on BSN be maybe an improvement on the existing kind of NFT ecosystem? Anybody, just feel free to jump in.
Yeah, I don't think Jehan used that much of energy in the world. I can tell they don't charge you for that. Obviously, minting at DDC is a lot cheaper than minting something on Ethereum. Ethereum doesn't use much energy. Well, I'll let Gillian talk about it. Actually, Gillian, want to say something?
I think in an economical way, that the fact that the gas fee in BSN is much lower means that it consumes less energy is pretty straightforward. So that's a good news for developers. That's a good news for people who actually want to mint, like artists and any other companies that want to work with. Not only is the gas fee is cheaper, it means that we use less energy. It's just moving to a better space within the whole ecosystem. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be good to the world, and we want to be able to enjoy good technology and bring our life to a next stage. So I think that the development of BSN really solved quite a few problems in here, and that's really good to bring up this point. Thank you, Jehan, for that.
Neil.
Yeah, so I think from a technical perspective, if we look at open permission Ethereum, Ethereum outside, obviously in the international or in the public chain, is currently in proof of work and transitioning to 2.0, which is proof of stake, right? But inside of China on OPE, we're actually proof of authority. So there's none of this complicated calculations, all these different validators, all those different things. It's a POA consensus mechanism, which makes it far more efficient and energy and compliant as far as ESG is concerned, or probably the most ESG compliant. So that's my response.
Great.
Harriet, any comment?
Yeah, so Jehan, I think the other guests already say very well about the energy side. And do you also want us to discuss a little bit also on the complaints from the public blockchain on NFT, on the fraud and those things?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, so I will address on the fraud side. And for the fraud, I think like in the public chain, and the people like run into the fraud from multiple aspects. For example, like the developers, they can make mistake. And all people does, like we can make mistake. So if the smart contract has there's a bug, and then that is the vulnerability can be attacked. And also like from the user side, if the user they are not experienced, if they cannot take care of like their secret seed and all this information, and then it can be like the phished. And if the public chain space, since it is all anonymous, so it is very hard trying to really trace and trying to prevent. However, in BSN, I think in the DDC, like what it really supported is first, I think like they are already pre-built and like the DDC smart contracts. And also like even on the blockchain side, for example, also on WinTong Chain, we build quite some of the native build smart contract, like the Cosmos architecture type of modules, which is ready for the developer to use. And so it's kind of like people doesn't really need to write every piece of code and start to reinvent the wheel. So that prevent a lot of place to make mistake. And the other part is it is an open permissioned blockchain. It is a permissioned. So it has KYC. It supports the regulation compliance. So which means like if really bad things happen, we know who is doing that. And then it is, and also like smart contract are implemented on the DDC network to help to, in the bad case, can like if really there's a law like violation, so there are way to manage the account to really like freeze the smart contract, freeze the account to help to prevent the damage. And the nice thing of this type of open network is all this type of management smart contract on blockchain is all transparent. It's built on the agreed rules. So it makes the compliance and the regulation to be transparent. There's a rule to follow, and that make like this trustworthy ecosystem can function more efficiently. So that is just my few points.
Yeah, I think there's so many benefits we can go on for a couple of hours. So in the interest of time, I think we should close it. But my final comment is I think we talk about technology here, but technology is here to serve people. Actually, don't have a chance to talk about community, but I prepare a lot of examples. But I think one thing that I think each of us can bring home is you are part of the community. You actually can create a community. So if you go on to BSN, DDC, you can create your own DDC, create your own avatar, start making friends, building your community, sell your products, which is, again, another DDC, and then combining other people's products, co-creations, that's another DDC. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do. I mean, after listening to this panel, I think the enabling of cross-community communications is something that what Jehan has done really well. And I think that should be highlighted. Yeah,
no, that's a great point. All right, we're out of time. I'm just going to ask for one last thing, just very, very quickly. Just give me like one sentence answer. What are you most looking forward to in the context of BSN and DDC, like any project or any milestone coming up? I'll go first. I'm looking forward to the first major, international brand, issuing DDCs, which is apparently it's La Prairie, the famous cosmetic brand. I'm excited to see the next large brand, whether it's maybe a large fashion house or maybe a large art brand. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Neil, what do you think?
I'm looking forward to all the metaverse activity that's happening inside of China. People always ask me, it's like, okay, what's happening there? There's a lot of regulatory inside of there. I'm like, I don't know if you saw the news. In December, Baidu launched one of the largest metaverse projects in the planet. So that's super exciting, and I think that's where a lot of this B2B2C activity is going into. So
great.
Well, mine is similar to yours. Perhaps also the combination or integration of CBDC and DDC, where finally the official become even more official.
Great. Gillian?
I'm very excited to be, actually we're working very hard on launching a fair in China next year. So hoping that we will give you some good news by the end of this year and launching some really exciting art project in China.
Fingers crossed. And Harriet?
Yeah, I think like early on, Jehan also shared like the great roadmap of BSN, and it's going to be more open, like the Spartan initiative, and I'm get very excited with all this initiative to see the BSN to be an open, inclusive ecosystem, and it really goes into the internet of blockchains, and I'm very excited to be a part of the builder ecosystem to support this effort.
Awesome. Well, with that, I think we'll close the panel. Thank you very much again to BSN for hosting us, and thanks to all our guests, Harriet, Gillian, Eddie, Neil. Thanks a lot.